Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Prachajana Ranjanai Yashodanandana Prachajana Ranjanai Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Prachajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Prachajana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya We are reading today from Canto 4, Chapter 7, at verse number 33. So before I come to number 33, I would like to read a little bit from behind previous verses so that we get the flow of what is happening here. Right, so basically, Daksha, he has disrespected Lord Shiva in this Leela of Daksha and Lord Shiva. Daksha has disrespected, one by not inviting Mother Sati, his wife, to this nice sacrifice by Daksha, Father Daksha. And Lord Shiva told his wife that not to go. You haven't been invited. But she, one being a lady, two being a daughter, already thought that, let me just go to my father's place. I don't need invitation. Plus, what actually incited her more, again, it's ladies' natures, that the demigods were all going to the sacrifice. They were all invited. So they were flying in their aeroplanes. And of course, Mother Sati was seeing them flying past Kailash. And she was convinced that, look, all the ladies are going and I'll have company and let me go. So she decided to go against her husband's wish. And she goes, and then, of course, Lord Shiva sends some, inverted comma, good messengers with her. And Sati is not invited, welcomed by mother. The father never appreciated her coming because her father, Daksha, was very envious of Lord Shiva. So he didn't like him, number one, as a son-in-law. Because normally in the material world, when a father has a daughter, they want to get the daughter married to a rich person, a wealthy person, an educated person. Somebody's got a house, somebody's got a job. But here, Lord Shiva has nothing. He is in fact living in skeletons and bones and ghosts, and that's where he lives, in a cemetery. So Daksha was understandably very angry. Why did my daughter choose him? So anyway, there is a big battle, and Mother Sati is disrespected. Then she decides to enter into a fire, and she obviously loses her material body that time. So Lord Shiva comes to know of it, and then he gets very angry because he already told her not to go, and she didn't listen, but never mind. Because he is his wife, he immediately got very angry, and because of his anger, Veerbhadra appeared from one of the hairs of his jata. It's called long hairs, Lord Shiva. So Veerbhadra and company, and co, which means Lord Shiva's followers, all the ghosts, goblins, etc., they all went to the fire sacrifice and destroyed and made it all impure. So there is a word which is here said earlier. Purodasha. So, because of the impurities of the sacrifice, one has to perform Purodasha ceremony. And that will clean, like disinfecting the whole place. So, this ceremony had to be carried out so that Daksha can carry out his sacrifice for Lord Vishnu. And Lord Shiva, being very compassionate and very easily pleased, Ashutosh, he forgave the impudence of Daksha. And But the punishment was that immediately when Veerbhadra decapitated Daksha, Lord Shiva was so compassionate that he gave Daksha another head of a goat. So as soon as the head was joined to the body of Daksha, he regained his consciousness. So the point to note is our Krishna consciousness movement is very, very good. It doesn't work on the mental platform, the brain, whatever, it doesn't work on that platform. It works on the transcendental platform. So with Daksha and with Bharat Maharaj example, when he is attached to a deer, and then he, at the end of his material body life, he remembers that deer and he takes on a body of a deer in his next life. But the point is that he still has his Krishna consciousness. His consciousness is still there. And that's why he could continue with his devotional service. So both Daksha and Bharat Maharaj could regain their consciousness and perform devotional service. So we are at this stage now where Daksha is performing another sacrifice where all the devotees, all the demigods also are taking part. And when Lord Vishnu appears on the scene, both Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they offer their full obeisances. So when an important person comes in, one should respect that person by offering obeisances. We do this every morning in our class at the moment because His Holiness Jyoti Swami Maharaj is present in Brooklyn Temple in New York. So every morning, Mangalarti, before Mangalarti starts, when Maharaj is here, and every single devotee offers obeisances to Srila Prabhupada and then to His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj. So that's the etiquette. And Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma also offer obeisances. So we have, when we chant our prayers in the morning, the second offense is to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. So we don't equal them to Lord Vishnu. They are subservient to Lord Vishnu. And they know their position. So in this text 22, all of them, including Lord Shiva, offers obeisances to Lord Vishnu. Okay. Daksha is forgiven by Lord Shiva, and he continues this new sacrifice. And the priests address the Lord or transcendental to by curse offered by Lord Shiva's men. We have been attracted now. On the contrary, we are now involved in the injunctions of the three departments. We know that under the rituals of yoga. Now we know that you have made arrangements for distributing the respective shares of the demigods. Now that everyone is back in order, and Daksha is actually come to his real senses, he now respects Lord Shiva. He already respected Lord Brahma, but not Shiva. So now he is ready to, in a sacrifice, all the shares are divided amongst the demigods, especially Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. So here, because of the regaining of consciousness, real consciousness by Daksha, Lord Shiva is also going to be offered his shares. The members of the assembly addressed the Lord, "O exclusive shelter for all who are situated in a troubled life, in this formidable fort of conditional existence. A time element like a snake is always looking for an opportunity to strike." There is a snake called python, I believe. He doesn't go hunting. He just sits in one place, hides in one place. Somebody comes, boom. So he's lazy, but he gets his food that way. Anyway, the snakes are very dangerous. The world is full of ditches of so-called distress and happiness. And there are many ferocious animals already ready to attack. Okay. So these foolish people live in cycle of birth and death, always overburdened in discharging so-called duties. And don't know when they will accept the shelter of the lotus feet. So 99.99%, they are all working hard to satisfy their own senses, their own material senses. Nobody wants to surrender to Krishna and satisfy Krishna's senses. It's only Srila Prabhupada's grace that we are involved in ISKCON, and it is spreading around the world to spread Krishna consciousness so that we can serve Krishna and not ourselves. So anyway, let's see what Lord Shiva says. "My dear Lord, my mind and consciousness are always fixed on your lotus feet." So Lord Shiva is always meditating on Krishna. This we should remember. Most people don't know that Lord Shiva is meditating on Krishna. They understand that Lord Shiva is supreme. So in the Bhāgavatam, it is very clear in so many examples, so many verses, that Lord Shiva is always meditating on Krishna. So here, consciousness is always fixed on the lotus feet, which, as a source of all benedictions and fulfillment of all desires, are worshipped by all liberated great sages, because your lotus feet are worthy of worship. With my mind fixed on your lotus feet, I am no longer disturbed by persons who blaspheme me. Yeah? And then he excuses them out of compassion, like he did to Daksha. Bhrigu Muni said, "My dear Lord, all living entities, beginning from highest, namely Lord Brahma, down to the ordinary ant, are under the influence of illusory energy. Everyone believes in the concept of the body, and all are submerged in the darkness of illusion." 99.9%. Lord Brahma said, "My dear Lord, your personality and eternal form cannot be understood by any person who is trying to know you through different processes of acquiring knowledge. Your position is always transcendental." So this is the point which Lord Brahma says. Your position is completely transcendental. 32, Indra. So Lord Shiva is speaking, Lord Brahma is speaking, now Lord Indra is speaking. Yeah? Lord Indra is saying, "My dear Lord, your transcendental form with 8 hands and weapons in each of them appear for the welfare of the entire universe. And it is very pleasing to the mind and eyes. In such a form, your Lordship is always prepared to punish the demons who are envious of your devotees." So now 33 is our verse. So please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Patna Uchuhu Yagno Ayam Tava Yajanaya yakena sristo vidvastaha pashupatinadaya daksha kopat tam nas svam swaha sayanapaha shanta medam yagnatman nalila rucha drisha punihi patnya uchuhu yaknoyam tava yaknaya kena sristo vidvasta pashupatinada dakshakopat ramnastvam savasayanapa santamedham yagnatman nalina rucha drisha punihi yagnoyam tava yagnaya kena sristo vidvastaha pashupatinadya dakshakopat tamnastvam savasayanapa santamedham yagnatman nalina rucha drisha punihi yaknoyam tava yagnaya kena sristo vidvastaha pashupatinadya dakshakopat tamnastvam sava shayanabhasantamedham yagnatman nalina rucha drisha punihi Mataji's, please. Pantya, Patnya Uchuhu. The wives of the executors of the sacrifice said, Yagnaha, the sacrifice, Ayam, this, Tava, your, Yagnaya, worshipping, Kena, by Brahma, Srishtaha, arranged, Vidvastaha, devastated, Pashu Patina, by Lord Shiva, Adya, today, Daksha Kopat, from anger at Daksha. Tam, it, Naha, our, Tvam, you, Sava, Sayana, dead bodies, Abha, like Shanta Medam, the still sacrificial animals. Yagna Atman, O Lord of sacrifice. Nanina, lotus. Rucha, beautiful. Drisha, by the vision of your eyes. Punihi, sanctify. Translation. The wives of the performers of the sacrifice said, My dear Lord, this sacrifice was arranged under the instruction of Brahma. But unfortunately, Lord Shiva, being angry at Daksha, devastated the entire scene. And because of his anger, the animals meant for sacrifice are lying dead. Therefore, the preparations of the yajna have been lost. Now, by the glance of your lotus eyes, the sanctity of this sacrificial arena may be again invoked. So let us repeat the translation again, please together, responsively. I will read a little and then you repeat, please. The wives of the performers of the sacrifice said, My dear Lord, this sacrifice was arranged under the instruction of Brahma. But unfortunately, Lord Shiva, being angry at Daksha, devastated the entire scene. And because of his anger, the animals meant for sacrifice are lying dead. Therefore, the preparations of the yajna have been lost. Now, by the glance of your lotus eyes, the sanctity of the sacrificial arena may be again invoked. Thank you. So, purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. Animals were offered in sacrifice in order to give them a renewed life. That was the purpose of having animals there. Offering an animal in sacrifice and giving him renewed life was the evidence of the strength of the chanting of mantras. In the old times, the Brahmins were very qualified. And that's why the sacrifices were allowed to be taking place. The Brahmins were exceptionally qualified. They could, all elderly body can be sacrificed and that animal becomes renewed. becomes very young. So nowadays we don't have any qualified Brahmins. I mean, we have qualified Brahmins to worship Lord Krishna, but that is only because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Narad Muni in the Narada Pancharatra, which we follow in our Acha Vigraha process. So, unfortunately, when Daksha's sacrifice was devastated by Lord Shiva, some of the animals were killed. One was killed just to replace the head of Daksha. What animal was that? It was a goat. So goat's head was cut off, and Lord Shiva himself replaced it on the head which was executed by Virabhadra. So he replaced it with the head of a goat. And as soon as the head was replaced, Daksha regained his total original Krishna consciousness. So it is wonderful how things happen. Another episode relating to this is when Lord Ganesh is born. Lord Ganesh was told to protect or not allow anybody inside the ladies' quarters because Parvati, Mother Parvati, was having a bath. And she wanted privacy, so she told Ganesh, don't allow anybody in. So again, I don't know, he wasn't aware who is his father. Anyway, Lord Shiva appears and he just wants to see his wife. He tries to walk straight through the past Ganesh. But Ganesh says, no. You cannot go in. So anyway, there ensues a battle between the son and the father. And then, of course, the father wins. And so Lord Shiva actually cuts off Ganesh's head. And then Parvati is disgusted and obviously annoyed with Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva says, no. So the next animal which comes is an elephant. And Lord Shiva cuts off the elephant's head and replaces the lost head of Ganesh with this new elephant head. And that's why Ganesh has an elephant head. So it's wonderful to see elephants, especially if you go to safari, wherever India or anywhere or in a zoo. They are so beautiful animals. And anyway, the head, elephants have got a powerful memory. They can remember everything. And Bhāgavatam is such a nice literature that if you go on to the canto 8, then you come to the story of Gajendra. He's an elephant. He was cursed. He was previously Indradyumna Maharaj. But anyway, he was cursed, and then there's a battle because there's this nice place, Rubat, in Kailash. And the water lakes are full of lotuses, and the whole place is so beautiful. And when the Gajendra comes, everyone gets out of his way. Here comes the king. It's a very fascinating episode. But then he goes to the lake, and then he sports with his she-elephants, and then his leg gets caught by a crocodile. But the only way this fight went on for 1,000 years. 1,000 years. But animal of the land is elephant. Animal of the water is crocodile. So a crocodile is getting more and more strength because he's in the water. And elephant is losing more and more strength. So in the fight, elephant is losing. And the only hope Gajendra has is that he sees a lotus flower, and then with his trunk he says, I'm going to be defeated. Let me surrender unto Krishna, which he does. And he remembers the prayers when he was King Indradyumna. And he raises with his trunk a lotus flower to Lord, and he prays so nicely that Lord Krishna comes immediately on his vehicle, who is Garuda, very fast. And he comes to the scene and he cuts off the crocodile's head, liberates the crocodile. He was a Gandharva, so he goes back to the Gandharva, and he liberates Gajendra, and he gets Indradyumna, the kingly planet. So when Krishna comes, both are liberated, the crocodile and the elephant. Anyway, that's a nice story about elephant. Sorry, I went a little bit that way, because it's about animals and how they get a new body, new consciousness. So here, let's continue what happened. So Daksha was given a goat's head. Right. Their bodies were lying about. The other animals' bodies were lying about. And the sacrificial arena was turned into a crematorium. I mean, it is okay for Lord Shiva because crematorium is here and crematorium is there. But the point is Daksha wanted to carry out the sacrifice. And it has to be a pure place. So we don't want dead bodies there. You know? Lord Vishnu, being the ultimate objective of such sacrificial ceremony, was requested by the wives of the priests to glance over the yajna arena with his causeless mercy, so that a routine work of the yajna might be continued. So, as I said earlier, before the verse, they were doing this special ceremony to clean everything up. Puru Dasha oblations. Yeah? Puru Dasha oblations. So they then arranged to offer into the fire the oblations known as Puru Dasha. So that cleaned the sacrificial arena. Okay? So it was all pure. But because the animals which were dead and lying around, that caused an atmosphere of cremation, dead bodies around, So that was not pure. But just by the glance of Krishna, Vishnu, everything was purified. Boom. This is the special thing. But this is how actually we are all born, because of the glance of Mahavishnu on Prakriti, and then we appear. Without his glance, it is still, the matter is inert. Yeah? It is dormant. And then to wake that dormant thing up is glance of Krishna, Mahavishnu. Lord Vishnu being the ultimate objective of such sacrificial ceremonies, because any sacrifice is meant for Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. All sacrifices are meant for Vishnu. And when we do a sacrifice, the mouth of Krishna is the yajna. One should remember this. So when you actually, in practice, offer the grains, you should offer like this. Remember, I don't know if it comes on a video or something, but this is how you pick up the grains. Do not touch this finger, which we don't touch in the chanting of the mantra. Just these are the three fingers, thumb and two middle fingers. Thumb and two middle fingers is what you pick up a little bit of the grains, and then you not throw, but you put in the fire. Like you feed a child, a baby, nice with love and affection, yes? So similarly, when you put the grains in the fire, you put it gently, like that. Swaha. You put it at the time when you say Swaha. So then the mouth is open, and Krishna digests the offering. Okay? This is the whole point of Swaha. Not before or after. The timing has to be perfect as well, Swaha. So that's something I would like everyone to put in practice. So Swaha is, of course, Lord Vishnu's mouth, and all sacrifices are done for Krishna, Vishnu. Okay, so with his causeless mercy, he glanced, yes? So everything was very clear. Right, so that with his causeless mercy, the routine work of the yajna might be continued. The purport here is that animals should not be unnecessarily killed. They were used to prove the strength of the mantras and were to have been rejuvenated by the use of the mantras. They should not have been killed as they were, by Lord Shiva to replace the head of Daksha with an animal's head. It was pleasing to see an animal sacrificed and rejuvenated. And that pleasing atmosphere had been lost. The wives of the priests requested the animals be brought back to life by the glance of Lord Vishnu to make a pleasing yajna. Okay, so what is happening here? Lord Krishna's glance is on the dead animals. He is bringing the dead animals back to life. That is what is happening here. So when the animals come back to life, there is no atmosphere of cremation. They're all living. Everyone is happy and taking part in the sacrifice. So the main point here is Lord Vishnu, although the place was cleaned up by that process, which we talked earlier, Rupasha, now Lord Krishna's glance has rejuvenated all the dead animals. So that was fantastic. Lord Shiva already rejuvenated the goat, because the goat's head was replaced on Daksha. But all the other animals were rejuvenated by the glance of Vishnu. So what a wonderful purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So what we do is we can read again. The wives of the performers of the sacrifice, they were very unhappy with the situation of the dead animals. So Krishna somehow is very kind to all the wives, actually. Wives of these brahmanas and people who are doing the sacrifice. And when Krishna was dancing on the heads of Kaliya serpent, you all remember that story, but Kalyanag was completely getting smashed. His heads were getting smashed. And he was crying out in one way of a lot of pain. But his wives then approached Lord Krishna, please, don't kill my husband. He is repenting his mistakes here, coming in this waters and poisoning it. He's agreeing to your decision to go out of this Yamuna, and then he ends up in Fiji. So we have a temple in Fiji. But Lord Krishna, of course, spares him because of the prayers of the wives of the Kaliya serpent. So the analogy, is parallel there. The wives are saying, please save, he has made a mistake, please forgive him, etc., etc. And Krishna is so merciful. And he listens to the prayers of the wives. He's got a soft touch. He has a soft touch, for the wives. So the serpent is released, and here he rejuvenates all the other animals. So he pleases the wives. Because the wives generally, even in ISKCON, the ladies, they have more loving affection. I think the reason I know. Shall I tell you what is the reason? Why are women more serious in the devotional service? Why are they completely given up? There are two reasons I will give you. One is, the rivers flow into the ocean nicely. So women have that nature. It's a natural quality of women. They want to serve. So around the world, if you go, then whether it's Russian, Chinese, English, Indian, Bengali, because Maharaj Srila Prabhupada was saying, ideal couple is a lady, Bengali, should marry a English gentleman. You know this? No. So, Bengali lady is very she's got a natural serving attitude. So that's the point. And an English gentleman is a gentleman. He'll open the door for the lady to go in the car. He'll open the door to come out of the house or go into the room or this, So manners, if you want to learn, you learn from an English gentleman. And if you want to learn the qualities of a lady, a wife, then you have to follow a Bengali lady. Srila Prabhupada quotes that in some places. All right, I think I have very limited time, 8:52. So almost 8 minutes, 9 o'clock we finish. So we'll just read the translation again, and then we'll open for questions. Is that okay? The wives of the performance of the sacrifice said, "My dear Lord, this sacrifice was arranged under the instruction of Brahma. But unfortunately, Lord Shiva, being angry at Daksha, devastated the entire scene. And because of his anger, the animals meant for sacrifice are lying dead. Therefore, the preparation of the yajna have been lost. Now, by the glance of your lotus eyes, the sanctity of this sacrificial arena may be again invoked." So, the dead animals are given new life by the glance of Lord Vishnu. So, everything is now clean, pure, for Daksha to carry out the sacrifice. And this time, he's including Lord Shiva as one of the shareholders. In a big company, there are shares. So when there is a sacrifice here, anywhere, initiation ceremony or this any sacrifice, the shares have to be divided. Otherwise, you don't get the full benefit. Okay, and we also learn one very important thing, that we don't worry too much about whether Lord Shiva will get his share or Lord Brahma will get his share or the demigods get his share. Because we learn two very good, clear examples. One is about feeding the stomach, and then the stomach gives energy to all the parts of the body. That's example one. The second example is the watering of a tree. You water the root of a tree with water. You water the roots, and then all the trees, parts of the trees, the trunk, the twigs, the branches, the leaves, everything is nourished. Similarly, if we just worship Lord Krishna or Vishnu, the same. There is only slight difference. 4 different qualities Krishna has apart from Vishnu. Vishnu has 60 qualities and Lord Krishna has 64 qualities. But anyway, the point is, if you worship Krishna or Vishnu, all the demigods are satisfied. So we don't have to worship separately. We just worship Krishna. And this is what the Krishna consciousness movement is all about. Thank you very much for listening very attentively. This is how one should listen actually, with so much attention, pure attention. You know, no diverting here or no running around and doing some other things. You're all concentrating. I'm so happy. This is the attention. This is how Bhāgavatam should be heard, with attention. Devotion and attention, but the attention word is used very well. Fixed, you know. We have as Atmika Buddhi, focus. You're all intelligent. Wonderful to see. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So, open for questions. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Your name, please.
My name is Arshab.
Ashav.
Arshab.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the class. So, Prabhu, I have a question regarding sacrifice. So, the purport we just read is that the wives of the priest who will be doing sacrifice are complaining to the Lord that because the animals are killed, so the sacrificial arena is spoiled. But when the animals are sacrificed during the yajna, so at that time that time also it must be spoiled, right? Because the animals are killed in order to give them a new body or for the sacrifice. So how come these two are different?
Okay. The scene is that the animals were not killed. These animals, including the goat, they were all alive. They were there in the arena. They were not killed. They were killed by the agents of Lord Shiva. Because Lord Shiva got angry, and then from his hair, Virabhadra came, and then all the other agents of Lord Shiva came to destroy the whole place. So they destroyed all the animals. They're the ones who destroyed the animals. So now it's the clearing stage, cleaning up stage. By processing, by following the other process earlier, Prabhu, I forget. Anyway, somebody can remind me again that. Anyway, I said 2 or 3 times earlier, but that process of purifying, that was carried out so that the whole place is purified again, yeah? But the only difference now is that the animals which were killed by Daksha's agents, they were not living, they were dead. So if they are dead, and if even a human body is dead, then smell comes, awful smell. It was only in the case of Putana, when Krishna killed Putana, the smell was so nice, it was just aromatic, perfumed. But that was exception. But generally, when any person dies, any animal dies, then the smell, awful smell comes. So it's all unclean. So it's making the atmosphere unclean. So Lord Vishnu, by his glance, he revives these animals so that the atmosphere is now, one, it's clean anyway, but now the animals are alive and they're not dead. Because if they're dead, they'll smell. That's the point.
So, Prabhuji, what does it mean when we say that the animals are sacrificed for yajna?
Okay. So, at that time, that period, the Brahmins were very qualified to rejuvenate these animals. So it's part of the process. They will probably be continuing this process further up. Rejuvenating the animals which are there. But because of Daksha's agents killed them, all what Lord Vishnu is doing here is purifying the whole scene so that yajna can take place. Do you follow? It's one process after another just to make sure everything's pakka. There's one Brahman who oversees everything, and there are other 4 Brahmins who do the other bits and pieces. But there's an overseer. But the sacrifice cannot take place unless everything is purified and clean. Like we do Abhishek or this or that, we pujaris have to be so clean. Anything we do. All the containers, for the Abhishek have to be clean beforehand. Everything has to be clean, pakka, everything. So much cleaning on. Pujari service is 2 things. Cleanliness and punctuality. Yeah? Number 1 is cleanliness, and also equally important is punctuality. Pujaris have to do everything, offering on time, arti on time, this on time. That's 2 things for pujari. Okay. One more? Yes?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So,
Your name?
Sandesh.
Sandesh.
Yeah. So,
Okay, I have to be near you. Okay. Hare Krishna.
so Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, like, Bhaktya mam avijanati. Krishna also says, like, I do not live on my abode, or I do not live anywhere, but I live where my devotees are chanting, glorifying me, right? Something like that. So it is kind of bewildering to me, like the sacrificial arena of Daksha was kind of karma kind, like generally yagya or sacrifice means like what I've known is to be karma kind, like putting something in fire and all these things. But Lord Vishnu appears there. So is there like, does Lord Vishnu appears by the devotion of the persons who are sacrificing, or like he appears generally in karma kanda like this? So
This is part of the responsibility of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is telling his son, Daksha, do sacrifice. So when Guru Maharaj says, do some yajna for this initiation, it's a spiritual thing. Yes, it's not karma kanda. It's spiritual. But on the other hand, Srila Prabhupada carried out a couple of marriages. Yes? But we don't call it karma kanda as such. But although the marriage process may be seen as karma kanda, with us, with ISKCON, I'll tell you what happened actually when Srila Prabhupada opened the Vrindavan temple. ISKCON Vrindavan. So at that time, Srila Prabhupada knew that his white elephants, so-called, his devotees, are very pure. And if they just chant Hare Krishna, that is enough for installation. Yes? But what did Srila Prabhupada do? He used what is called Loka Vicha. Loka Vicha. Right? What that means is that he got all the Goswamis of Vrindavan, all the senior people, all of them involved in the initiation. Installation ceremony. So there were some Vedic Brahmins there, just to let them do their, as you said, karma kanda. It doesn't matter, because Srila Prabhupada was telling his devotees, just keep chanting Hare Krishna. So even in a place where there's kind of going on, you can in your head or you can tell somebody in the background, just play Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and that will purify the whole scene. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is so powerful. You only need that. But because he's involved all the other people around him, it's called Loka Vichar, people around him, the temple is now, worshipped by everyone. Everyone is coming. If we had only allowed ISKCON devotees to do the installation, things would be different. Okay, but Srila Prabhupada, of course, is Srila Prabhupada. So he knows how to do, when to do, what to do. Yes? So don't think this is a karmakandi yagna. Those Brahmins could do that, but they had the power of rejuvenating. That is completely spiritual. Yes. Karmakandi Brahmins nowadays, they can't even do anything. I'm sorry to say, they appear to be doing something, but we should give them credit that they're doing something. But if you want to make that karmakandi sacrifice into something useful, we should ask that Brahman or anybody, please chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra so we can all chant. Just something like that. And that atmosphere and that addition of Hare Krishna Mahamantra will purify the whole scene, purify the whole sacrifice, purify the whole results. And just by Mahamantra, it's all successful. That's something you can guide people who are doing karmakanda. And just add Krishna. Okay. Any more questions or comments? I hope you like my comments. If there is a criticism and how I can improve my class and any mistakes I have made, you should all come forward and let me know how I can improve. Thank you very much. Śrimad Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananda Koti Vaishnavinda ki, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindha Evacha Patitana. I'm only here because of the Vaishnav's blessings. I didn't know I would come back, but I have only by your mercy and Radha Govinda Dev mercy. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.